So the frapping turns on that, some of them are double and some of them are single, and that's dangerous.
Well, they were all double initially.
Okay.
I'm saying, you can see from the way this was made, they were all doubled initially.
Frapping turns,
and one of them is broken, which means that it's going to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So now what I'm trying to decide here is how much of this line I want to cut off. And I think my inclination is to put one whipping here and one whipping here and cut off about 3 or 4 inches.
So just like here?
Yeah, so if I make a whipping here, then this one will hold everything in place while we do it. So that's kind of nice, you know. This stuff back here, I'm not going to mess with it. We're going to lose a few inches. Okay, but you're going to discover that whipping old stiff line is hard, is difficult. But that's what we're going to do. Number 8.
Okay.
Okay. Now I also have with 8. I mean, I have some colored ones. It's like sometimes we want to put a whipping on just as a marker. That one's black and this one's green. Okay, but these are number 4 and they're a whole lot thinner. Okay, so I only use those as markers. So you can see them a little bit better. I like using this, and then also this stuff, which is just waxed linen, which is probably a number 8. It feels about the same size. Maybe it's a little thinner. It is thinner. Okay, but people use different sizes, and in truth, with a whipping, it seems like it works. And I actually like to be smaller, because then I can really suck it into the rope when I pull it tight. And it doesn't seem to come off so easily.
What size needle do you use?
Okay, I think, and I actually do this. See, I leave a needle, the last needle that I used with this line, I leave the line on it.
Oh, good.
So I go like, okay, I know that line will fit through that size needle.
Yeah.
Because I get tired of the trial and error method of it.
Yeah.
So I know that this needle will fit.
Do you know the size of it?
No, I do not.
Okay.
The only needle that I've got that are numbered, these are size 14 to 18.
Can you size it next to another one?
See, that's a much smaller one.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I have, you discover that buying sailmaker's needles, this is a normal size, so it's easy to get, like your local marine supply stores got that. Okay, when you start to get into the bigger stuff, it's hard to find. And you can go online and find it and buy them in packs of 2 dozen or something, which gets expensive, and you're never going to use that many.
Like even that's expensive
so
for that.
I ended up with this collection of needles from a sailmaker friend of mine who just started giving me different needles. So I got all these different needles, and I don't know what sizes they are. And so I do the trial and error method of like, you know, can I get that piece of line through there, and it's still sharp enough, it'll work. And you can sharpen these things. You can sharpen these on a whetstone. If you notice, they're all triangular. Good sailmaker's needles are all triangular. And it makes it, pretty easy to sharpen them on a whetstone.
So just both sides and that's it?
Yeah, well, you take the 3 sides and just, rub it, just rub this. And, if it reaches that point where you're having trouble pushing it through the line, which we're probably going to have today with this really old, nasty line. Okay, so we're going to do and I'm guessing this is about right. I prefer to err on the side of too long because it's really, really irritating right at the end to discover that you're 2 inches too short.
Oh, heartbreaking.
So it's a whole lot better to go like, oh, I'm 12 inches too long. Well, it goes in the trash can. Okay. You know, it's not that expensive. So I always like with this line, it's a big line. I don't know. I'd rather be too long. And then the second one that we do, I'll be able to estimate it better. But, and you'll probably get some people who come by and criticize you. Oh, you're using way too much line, you're wasting. Yeah, well, okay. You know.
So how many feet are you going to do, or fathom, or?
That's probably a fathom that I pulled off.
Yeah. Okay.
Fathom.
6 feet. Yeah. Well, for me, it's 5'3".
No, it's for everyone.
No, because this measures here.
Okay.
So got about a fathom there.
So what I've got, probably a fathom. So I've got like a half fathom of actual doubled up length. Okay, so that will be our measuring point to start. And there are people around here who will yell at you for using pair pliers. But I went up and spent time with a professional sailmaker, and he laughs at that criticism. He goes, hey, how else are you going to pull it through? And so the only thing is, like, if you have to pull it through with a pair of pliers, grab it down low on the round part, so you're not munching up this part up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I carry a small pair of pliers with me.
I need second angle of shooting.
Oh,
and
good.
then we can combine and do
Can
it.
edit. I'll edit it. Yeah.
Okay, now, just getting started. Okay, I'm going to be working this direction. So I'm going against the lay, and I'm working from the working end towards the bitter end. Okay, and that means your final knot will be in the right place. Okay, so I'm hoping to put this whipping right about here, just so that I don't end up in that mess. Give myself a little bit of room. Okay. Now, I'm just sticking it through the fat part of the line here. And this line is old and really hard, so.
That's going in the fat part of the line. What do you call this right here, like that line there?
The in between here?
Yeah.
Well, some people today call it the crotch.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
And you won't like the old timers word for it.
Okay, thank you very much.
So we'll just call it the crotch, okay?
Okay, so we're putting it through the fat part, not the crotch.
Okay, I'm trying to get from the fat part. And I want it to come back out in the fat part too, but that's. Now I'm going to pull it back out a little bit.
I'll send you the video, Ed.
Thanks.
I'm
I'll
gonna
check my
edit it.
Facebook. I just posted video about star selling and Ed liked it and leave a comment. Great guy.
Boy, this is an old nasty line, I'm telling you. Okay. But you can see why you need the sailmaker's palm. 'Cause
Oh yeah.
there's no way you can push it through there without it. I don't feel it coming through yet. And if you're really strong, stronger than I am, there. Okay, it's coming out in a good spot now. But if you're really strong, you got really strong hands, it does happen that people will push these things so hard that the needle will break, and they usually end up stabbing themselves when that happens. So, be aware of that. I don't think I'm strong enough to do it, so it's not really a problem with me. But okay, now I've gone through from fat part to fat part. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to go I'm just trying to even these things up a little bit. Leaving out just a little bit here, okay? What we're going to actually whip over these to hold them down. Okay. So now, just evening that up. I'm going to try to go right back into the same hole that I just came out of. Okay? And what I'm trying to do now, I'm going to try to go into this hole, okay? And then I want to come out at this crotch just beyond where I started.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to stab it through here, in there, and have it come out here in this crotch. Okay? Just missed by a little bit. Come on, back out a little bit. Doesn't want to come back out now. Okay, start over. Now, if the line is new, this is a much simpler process because you can try it half a dozen times until you get it just where you want it. See, that one's even further out than I was last time. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to back it out just like a half an inch. If I can back it out a half an inch, no, I didn't do it, I pulled it all the way out. Then I can redirect it a little bit. There we go. It's coming out the crotch now. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, now at this point, I don't need the palm for a while. And pull all this thing through. just trying to get all the twists out of it so I can get it to come through cleanly. If you get the twists out and you make a point of trying to do this at each step, then the final result is going to be a lot nicer. So I've just twisted it, and I'll try to pull these twists through. Okay, so that the final loop has no twists in it. Right? Now, I can just bury it. Okay? So just pull it down. We went back into the same hole we came out of, so you can bury it and it disappears. Okay? Now, these two are the ones that we started with, that I said we're going to whip right over them. Okay? That's what we're going to do. So I'm starting in one crotch, okay? And I'm going around 2 at a time. Now this is why I like thinner lines. I can pull it tight and it kind of buries itself.
We're going to lift the stairs. If anyone has to leave, now's the time to...
What do you... Oh, okay. Thank you.
We still have bucket. We still have bucket if you need to do something. I mean,
Yeah.
our business. How do you call it?
Okay, so, you know, and I'm just trying to lay it in nice and neat so that there's no overlaps. It's just going, you know, right over itself. You know, you have to keep kind of squishing it down a little bit. You get, well, I see I started to get a little gap to open up there, and I'm just sort of squeezing from both ends. Okay. And this really isn't necessary here, but I'm going to show it to you now because it's something you need to know. If you're trying to get a line like this tight, okay, there's a thing we call a marlin spike hitch. Okay, I don't know if you've seen it before, but you just make a loop, turn the loop over, okay, then shove your marlin spike through the working end, okay? Now you've got a way to really pull it tight, okay? And that's marlin spike hitch, very, very useful. You're gonna discover that when you start doing rigging, use it all the time, it's a slip knot, so it pops right out, okay?
Could you please repeat it? Repeat it.
You wanna do that again?
How to do that?
Sure, we'll do that again.
First of all, go to the middle one and see what it feels like when you get big.
Okay, so I'm taking another turn around. Okay, here's the marlin spike hitch. Take the line out nice and clean. Make a loop. Okay? Then fold the loop over. Okay? Now the loop is folded over. I'm taking my finger on it so it'll stay put. Then you weave your marlin spike. I'm not doing a very good job of demonstrating this.
It was an idea.
Okay, we put this over. I'll put my thumb down on it here. Okay? And then I just weave this through, and this is through the working part that I'm grabbing. Okay? And then that loop just basically forms a slip knot there. So I now have a slip knot on my marlin spike, which allows me to pull really hard. Okay? And once you've done that 2,000 times, you can do it in your sleep. Okay? Now, at this point, I'm going to trim off these ends. This one's so short I can't get a hold of it.
How many turns you need to make?
I'm sorry?
How many turns you need to make?
You basically, the length of the whipping should be equal to the diameter of the line. Okay?
Okay.
Good question.
Hold that for just a second. I'm going to get my Leatherman so I can trim that off a little bit.
Yeah, the other one was skimpy, so that this one was not
Now,
the diameter of the line. Yeah.
If I'd left a little longer tail here, this would have been easier for me to cut it off.
Yeah, so you got your Leatherman now. You're cutting it.
Right. So
Ooh.
there's always another way to do things.
Yep. Beautiful. Thank you, Carl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, and I've cut those things off maybe, you know, half or 2/3 of the way through the whipping, because I just wanted it to be buried and disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to keep taking the twists out of your line.
Yep.
And now we're down to that thing of like going, oh, I think I can go one more turn, and then I'm only got this much line left. Wish I'd given myself a little bit more, but I think I'm okay. Okay, what we want to do, okay, we're going to start with the needle going back through this line, okay, and the first place that I stick it in is in the same crotch where I started. Okay, so that's the crotch where I started.
Okay.
So I'm going to go into this crotch right here.
Yep.
Okay? Okay, so this is the one where I started, so I want to go in here, and I want it to come out the very next crotch. Okay, so that's what I'm aiming for. Sometimes you can twist it open a little bit and helps you find that, get the needle to come out in the right place. Well, that's all right. That'll work. Okay. Now, what's going to happen here, I got to wind backwards a little bit to get my line on the same side of the needle. The needle came in a little lower than I'd intended, but that's all right. We'll make it work. Just squeeze that line right in there.
Can you just show again where you came in?
Yes, I can, but let
In
me
a second.
get this line under control, and then it'll be
Okay.
easier.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, so it's
through
one
here.
past the, yeah, towards.
Now I'm gonna. Okay, I think we can hold it now and show you. Okay, where I entered in. Was right here. Okay, and that's the same crotch where we started.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
so you just follow that crotch up here, and that's where you go in.
Yep.
Okay. then you have it come out the very next crotch.
Yep.
Okay? And there we go. Okay, so what we're going to do now, again, I want to be careful I get all the twists out of this before I start pulling it all through. So I'm working the twist down towards the entry hole, so the twist will actually get pulled through the hole. Okay, so it's coming. Yeah, I think we're okay there. I'm not seeing any twists. Okay, and this is a time to slug it up really good. So I've got my Marlow spike out. Okay. And just pull it up nice and tight. Now, what we're now going to do is we're going to come down here. Okay, these are the frapping turns. Okay, and the frapping turns go the opposite direction of the way we were turning before. Like you notice I was going around this way, but then when I put the needle through, I was going the opposite direction. Well, I'm going to continue that pattern. So again, I'm going to go into this crotch and try to come out the next one. Really missed by a lot there. Okay, I missed by about like a half a thread. You see where it's starting to come out? So with any luck, I can pull it back just a teeny bit, twist it a little bit, and have it come out on the other side of that thread. That's pretty good. Okay.
What you end the thread? Is it okay? You still have some here.
Yeah, there's a little bit there, but we're going to come back this way, so I think it's going to look okay when we're done. Okay, so we're now set up to pull our first frapping turn type. We went down the crotch and we went into the crotch. Okay, now we're going to take all those twists out. Take the twists out before you pull it tight. And by kind of keeping a finger in here, you can kind of keep track of the twists. And a little bit. Still got a half twist in there. There, I think I got it there. So now you can see the frapping turns coming to length and there's no twists in it. Okay? Again, that's one where I want it tight. If I'm Marlow spike. There it is. And you see, these things are now, they're pulling it down tight into the line. So that's the sense in which they really are frapping turns. Okay? So now we're going to go back up this crotch. Right? Go up this crotch. Going to stick it in right here at the top of this crotch. And we're going to hopefully come out right about here. That's where I'm hoping to come out. Okay? Close. Yep, I like that. I think that'll work. Again, I'm just trying to work the twists out here. Okay, so now this is our second trapping turn. It's going to lay right in that crotch. If we did it right, we can do it without any twists. There we go. It's right in there without any twists. Now, before I pull this really tight, I've got another task that I want to do. And not everybody does this, but I like it. I came out here, now I want to capture these two lines. I could take this frapping turn just down here, okay, and leave these lines hanging out here. I don't really like that. I don't think that's very seaman-like, so I want to capture them. So I'm going to try to work my needle underneath these two guys. And this is actually a time where you benefit from having a dull needle, because a sharp needle is catching threads while you do this. But what you can see is I'm trying to work my way underneath it and sort of pry it up. Now I've pried it up a little bit.
Thank you for saying. Did someone say?
I think I now got the needle under it without catching any threads. Okay. So now again, just working the twists out. Okay, I think I've got the twists out. Okay. Now, when I pull this down, I've captured those two, so that I pull them down with it. Okay. And here I'm going to try to, you know, put a good strain on these. So that should have tightened up that frapping during there. Okay. And now we're going to come down here, which will capture these two. Once we pull that one, we're good and tight. Okay. Now we have to finish this off. When we finish it off, again, with the very first place where we came out, right where we started, these two lines here, they're coming out of that crotch. Okay. Now, what I want to do is, again, I want to capture them and pull them back in this way.
Yeah.
Like some people would just start sewing through here and tying a knot here, whatever. I think we can make it look better.
We need some tape to mark the depth
Okay.
of how deep you want
So
to go.
I'm going to try to work underneath these two threads here. Just pry them up a little bit. Okay, so I've loosened them up, pried them up a little bit. Now, I'm going to come through the opposite direction I did on the previous one. You can see my needle is trying to catch a thread, and I'm trying to get it not to. Yeah, I think I'm okay. I'm in good shape now. Now, so this line's going to come down. I'm going to capture those two threads. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull that through. Again, take all of the silly twists out. Okay. Now, we're going to finish this by sewing back through the line again. Okay. And we're going to do that right here where it first came out. Okay. So I'm going to finish this. And I'm just aiming for a fat part over here, nothing in particular. But hoping for a fat part of the line. God, this is, oh, there we go, it's coming through. Okay.
So you start in the fat part, you end in the fat part.
Yep. Yeah, it's really being obnoxious here. So, first thing that we learn, don't whip nasty old line. Get new line. Boy, it is being tough on me here. See if I can push it through with the pliers. Now I got it a little further through. And one guy was showing me that instead of using pliers for this, he actually uses a pair of dikes, because dikes have a sharp jaw. And with a sharp jaw, you can grab the needle.
Okay, so
close. Like I said, if you start with new line, you'd probably never have to use the pliers at all. Okay. So now, this is our last frapping turn. We're just going to pull this one down. Okay? And then it goes under these first two to capture them. Pull them up nice and tight. Okay? And then we got a least twist we got to get out. Got it. Okay. Well, the frapping turn should pull this up tight, should pull that one down tight. So, one more Marlow spike hitch to pull it really tight. Okay. Now we pulled it down pretty tight. I would say I should have started with more lines, so I could have done more turns. But I ran out of lines, so you get what you get sometimes. Okay? Now, what we have to do here to finish this off, and do the same technique I used when we started. I'm going to shove this back in the same hole where it just came out, hoping to come through the fat part of the line next to it. I don't even feel it yet.
Let's put all 4 screws at least halfway in, maybe. So pick a bit.
There it is, coming out.
Good.
Try pushing it through.
Hi. Sharon, could you and Bob relay the level?
Finally.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Now what this does, you're actually like kind of creating a knot that's going to be buried within the rope. because you've gone through it and you've come back through the same part and you're catching a whole bunch of these threads inside. Okay, so you just pull that night tight and it disappears. Okay, so you now got a knot that's buried in there. Okay. And then this part you can cut off. You guys do know how to do that, right? Just,
Hallelujah.
hmm? You just lay your knife. You lay your knife flat,
And then
and then wiggle the small thing that you want to cut, and don't wiggle the thing that you don't want to cut.
Aloft on the 4, the lines are cast off.
Okay. Now, that
Why
is
don't
as
you
soon as
go
that
ahead
starts
and
to
take
work.
up about 2 inches
that
right
end will have
now,
already
and we'll see what it
disappeared.
looks like.
Okay. So if you do it right, okay, it should produce this really nice tight thing, and it should be like really tight and stiff. Okay.
Just show me
Okay.
this way.
I wish it was a little bit longer, but that was the amount of line that I started with, so
Stand by.
that's what we got. Okay. So
Very cool.
that's the way that I do a whipping, and if we did it in a nicer line, we would have done it in a third the time. Okay.
Say, Ken,
Now,
you might just to your left shoulder is the glue. You might overhaul that a little bit. And then underneath the yard
guys
is the
wanna
sheet.
practice
You might
whipping-
overhaul that too. Yeah, that's loose.
okay,
Check the sheet too.
let's get you some line that's better
Well-
for practice. This is terrible. You'll probably stab
doesn't
yourself
look
with the
like you
needle. It
can
doesn't.